We have some exciting things coming up with Dale in the near future that I wanted to share. In July, his Relationship and You series is coming back to Las Vegas. It's currently in Santa Barbara. And Dale, I'd like for you to share a little bit about what the Relationship and You series is all about.
Well, the title kind of says it all. At the foundation of the school is it has to do with our relationship with ourselves. That's where ultimately the entire classes or all the classes lead people towards exploring, examining, reflecting on the relationship that they're currently in with themselves. And then more importantly, where do they want to go? Where would they like to be in having maybe a better relationship, a more expansive relationship, a deeper relationship, a richer relationship with that of themselves? And so that's really the foundation of the school. The school itself consists of 5 different classes. Each class is 3 days in length. Each class has a very different theme. As we talked about in the earlier part of the show, one of the themes is on healing and raising the inner child. But there's 4 other themes, and they all interface with each other. And so around this, those that are in resonance with wanting to come to this class or these classes, they're going to learn all kinds of things. They're going to learn things about how do we actually create a relationship? How do we end up sometimes with the relationships that we end up with that we don't really understand? How does that happen? Where's that coming from? Meaning the creation of that relationship, the manifestation of that relationship. How does one create a relationship of their dreams? And the relationship could be, a relationship with a lover, significant other. A relationship could be with a business partner or a business associate or a best friend. There's a variety of different relationships. In fact, one of the things that I often see over and over again is we're in a relationship with everyone and everything. It's constant. It's a 24/7 thing. And for us to take the time to invest in our own studies, if you will, on how to really have better, deeper, richer, more meaningful relationships in our world, and most importantly, again, the relationship that we have with ourselves. Everything seems to stem from this place of if the relationship with ourselves is somewhat dysfunctional, if the relationship with ourselves is somewhat shallow, if the relationship with ourselves is somewhat negative, then somehow, some way, that's going to seep out into our outer expression of the relationships that we find ourselves in with others. And again, this could be a best friend, it could be a lover, it could be a business partner, it could be our customers. I've helped a lot of salespeople years ago. I've been teaching relationship now, or teaching classes on relationship for well over 20 years. And so I've given hundreds of classes on this subject in a variety of different settings or a variety of different environments. And I always find, people just become so engaged. They're so hungry in a genuine way to really learn more about this. It's always been interesting to me. Sometimes you'll hear people say, well, I don't need to go to a relationship seminar, I've got it all figured out. And meanwhile, their relationships are not that functional, they're not that healthy, they're not that vibrant, they're not that radiant, they're not that deep, and yet they've got everything all figured out. They don't have the time for that sort of thing. And yet, if you get them in a real quiet space, they'll say to you that their number one value, or one of their top 3 values at the least, is relationships. It's their friendships, it's their family. And yet the way they live their life opposite to that until it's time for them to leave the planet. And as they're getting ready to leave the planet, and they're possibly laying on the hospital bed, all of a sudden it's all about the relationships. It's like they can't get enough of their friends and their family members. They want everybody that they've come to know in the context of some kind of relationship, they want those people around them. And yet, in many cases, that's not the way they perhaps live their life day to day. And so I find this to be such an important subject for all of us to, really be guided and supported in this way, where the type of teachings that you're going to immerse yourself in are higher teachings. They're the type of teachings and the type of processes that we use in my classes that are designed to really elevate us so that we can see things. We can see what's actually going on in our world. And sometimes, as I've often heard, perhaps for the very first time, that whatever this is that's been going on, we couldn't see it, and then you start coming to these types of classes, and next thing you know, you can see things that you weren't able to see before. And of course, the big value to that is once you start seeing it, that's when you really have a chance to change something for the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. I'm so honored to have had you take time out of your busy schedule to be with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Dale.
Glad to be here.
And we will be back again with more pearls of wisdom on Care of the Soul from Dale Halloway. Until next time, this is Mickey Manning. Stay alive and vibrant.
Yes.